roundabout, and it was totally different. The market was open till 10:30, 11 at night. It's not got the same atmosphere. There was an air of all the stallholders were all very friendly, talking over to one another, and yes, it was totally different. These are like miniature shops, aren't they now? It's a different atmosphere altogether. Eventually, I didn't feel very well, and that's when I could hardly swallow. It was a time when radiograms would be fashionable, and they were called RGD. There's a nice walnut cabinet, and we had all these records, and I was crazy on beer and in. But I still went on with my little croaker, and in the end, my mother said, I'm not putting up with this any longer. I am going to get a doctor. I wouldn't have doctors. I was frightened to death of doctors. I once went to have my tonsils out. My nana took me, and we were in the waiting room, and then they called me through. It was down by the River Mersey, near St Mary's Church. And I looked around and everything, and I was so petrified. Absolutely petrified. And I thought, I can't do this. So when my backs were turned at the desk, whatever they were, files that were getting, called to my nana, and she came out so bewildered. What's going on? You should be... I said, I don't want it. So, to this day, I've still got my tonsils. I was so poor. Eventually said, I'm having the doctor, and he came, and he said, well, I don't need to go upstairs, Margaret. He said, I can smell it from here. He said, she's got diphtheria. And he said, can I use your phone? And he rang for the ambulance. And well, you can imagine the state I was in. There's hospitals and doctors and everything all came flooding back to me. Anyway, I was crying my eyes out when they put me in the ambulance. And it was very dark. It must have been about 8 o'clock at night. And it was heavy winter time. I didn't know where I was going to. And eventually they got me out of the ambulance and took me in this place. And it used to remind me, it used to knock me sick when the Nazis took prisoners of so many Jewish people. Well, that was the kind of building, really horrific. Went into this ward, and it was a very, very long ward. And it had very long, narrow windows. They weren't square, they were like rounded. They had these long, bottle green blinds, and the lights were very dim, so it was very eerie. Very, very, very frightening. And they used to turn your bed round on a Sunday so you could see your loved ones at the window. It was lovely, but it was upsetting because they weren't there all that long. But because the war had started, there was no petrol, and transporter bridge that used to go from the Manchester Canal to over to the Mersey to witness, and they didn't open on a Sunday, so she had to walk, and there was a place for passengers, people to walk across, and they charged you a penny to go over. But she never ever missed coming to see me, and she used to bring me milk, dairy, chocolate, little bears or cats or all little animals in chocolate, and she was always bringing us treats. So that's it. It was very, very grim. And I used to lie there trying to place where I was. I thought, well, I'm not far away from a train.